Welcome to episode 2.
We got through episode 1.
It's a miracle.
Miracle.
All right, we shouldn't.
We
sing
went
our-
Barry Manilow.
We did. We love him. That's the
Love
thing
the
about
Barry.
us. We do. This is still life.
In jest? Did I get it right? Nice.
And I'm Selene Castrovilla.
And I'm Pascale. Do I have to give my last name?
No,
I gave it in the first episode, but
Okay.
whatever. I'm Pascale, all right?
sure.
Like,
That's
how many
another
Pascals
podcast.
do you people know?
That's true. But there's another there's another podcast. The woman says her name and then her whole name, and then the other one says and she only gives her first name. So do whatever
Yeah.
you want.
I want to
Yeah.
be like Madonna. Well, not really with her golem arms. Oh,
What?
that was mean.
So
Sorry,
mean.
Madonna.
If Andy Cohen is listening, she didn't say that.
Yes, I'm sorry. I do like Madonna. I'm sorry.
Strike a pose. I like that one quote she says in song, "Beauty's where you find it." I love
Oh,
that.
yeah, that's in vogue.
I know. But isn't it a great quote?
Yeah.
Very profound. She can be profound.
Yeah,
Yeah. She's smarty.
she is.
Yes. Okay. Well, this episode is going to be attachment part 2.
Oh,
It's going to be a different kind of attachment. Okay.
really? Like what?
Well, let's get there.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
But first, we have a couple of, I like my little mini segments in the beginning.
Yes.
So this is a segment that's going to be called, it is called, Only in America.
A new segment for
I'm really-
episode 2.
And I'm going to just say, I don't know if it's only in America, but it seems like it's something that would be only in America. Okay. I'm going to tell you about a museum in Arizona, but it's not just any museum. It's a Pooseum.
The hell does that mean?
Can you guess? Pooseum.
A museum of poo?
It is.
Really? Like, have people run out of shit to do?
They haven't run out of shit.
I didn't even mean that, but you know what I mean.
Okay. Well, this is special poo. It's called, I have no idea how to pronounce this, coprolites. Coprolites, I guess. Yes.
What kind of poo is that?
Fossilized feces
From what?
from animals that lived millions of years ago.
Wow.
And they range from minuscule termite droppings to a massive specimen that weighs 20 pounds.
A 20-pound shit?
They think that it is from T-Rex.
Well,
they-
I mean, they had to go.
And they discovered it must be pretty. I don't know what's trapped in this feces, but it says that he didn't really chew; he just swallowed things whole.
Oh, my.
So, God, there's probably a creature in this poo that you can see.
Body parts and poo.
And this guy, like, he started by finding like little things, and he just like became like an obsession to him.
Yeah, that's weird.
Well, guess how many? Okay, he has the record for the largest. They're certified, by the way, so we know they're real.
Okay.
Okay, it's the largest coprolite collection, and guess how many pieces?
102.
1,277. That's what's in the museum. But he actually has 8,000 specimens. The rest of them you can only see online. There's too many to display in the museum.
Okay. I have to admit that if I happened to be in that area, I would definitely go there.
Yeah, I mean, well, I want to say this is an unspoken thing. Rarely do people talk about toilet except Howard Stern, but he
No.
even doesn't talk about his poop. He just talks about his, what is that thing called?
He does talk about his poop.
Oh, yeah, well, sort of. I mean, but he doesn't like talk about the poop.
He does. He
Well,
has.
the Metamucil stuff.
No, he has talked about the actual poo in his toilet.
Okay. Well, Ronnie with the poo.
Oh, God, that was
Okay,
awful.
but most people don't talk about this. But remember in the movie, it was the book and the movie, Running with Scissors.
Yes.
Remember when he was like living with that doctor, and he called him to the toilet every day to read the poo, like to see what it meant.
Oh, I don't remember that. That's
This was
weird.
the psychologist.
Yeah, so that he lived with.
Yeah, it's an interesting story.
That's a really good book.
He's like the same age as I was, because he talked about TV shows that he watched, and I always watched the same ones.
Yeah.
So it's like I grew up at the same time as him.
Yes, it's Augustine Burroughs for anybody who
Poor
wants.
man. Yeah.
His books are
He's
amazing.
good. Yeah. He's good. He's good.
Yes.
So this made me think of that. And I will say, like, I'm just going to admit that I do take a look and see what's going on. How about you?
Really?
You don't look?
I guess when I turn around to flush.
You don't, like,
but I'm
wanna
not examining it.
You're not curious?
No.
Oh, I am.
Really?
Yeah, I need to know.
Interesting. Tell us in that Facebook group, what is it called again?
Life in Jest podcast community.
Yeah. So join that and tell us if you examine your poo. If you,
I'm just curious, at least. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you ever okay? Because sometimes it comes out like as a letter.
What?
Yes, it's true.
Okay. I guess I'm not that observant.
Messages in poo.
Oh my.
Well, if that doctor saw it, maybe there's something to it.
I guess so.
Yeah.
The
All right.
poo is trying to tell you something.
It is. Winnie the Pooh. All right. So I thought that was really interesting about that.
Yeah,
About
I
that
never heard of that.
museum. Nor did I until you Google around, you never know what you're going to get.
True.
I got my, not the next book that's coming up, book after. I literally just Googled unknown American history, and I got this whole perfect idea for a book about
that's
a
cool.
woman that had been enslaved twice. Quite a story.
Enslaved twice. I
Can
feel
you believe
like.
that? I told
Did
you.
you tell me about this?
Of course I did.
I was like, that sounds really familiar.
Yeah, this poor woman. She was amazing. That book, I'm so proud. I'm proud of all my books. Yeah, I'm proud of everything. I'm not gonna lie. But that book, wow, it killed me to write it because because I felt like I was putting her through the stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was really. It took me. That was my pandemic book. I wrote it during the pandemic.
Yeah.
There's nothing more uplifting than Twice Enslaved. It doesn't have an ending where look, no one could ever make up for that horror, but she did. She came out. She got the most reparations ever. It wasn't that much, but it was enough to put her son through law school. So it was.
That's
yeah,
good.
yeah. But of course, nothing can make up for what happened to her.
I do have a little thing to tell you that I meant to tell you before. Remember when we just went? Remember my car was being fixed and we went to that museum?
Yeah, Raynham Hall.
Yeah. And we saw the slave quarters.
We did.
And
yeah.
it was just one room for, I don't remember
Yeah.
how many people. It was awful.
Ugh.
Just so disturbing. Then I went to the Vanderbilt Museum, the mansion.
Yeah.
And their quarters for the Irish help were lovely.
Really?
Yeah. And I'm like, what a difference. I mean,
But didn't they have little rooms for Irish also in Raynham Hall? Wasn't there a little Irish room?
yeah, and they were better than the
Well,
rooms.
they definitely were. Yeah.
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 It's
Yeah.
just, I mean,
Does that really surprise you?
no, it doesn't surprise me, but seeing it really drove it home.
Oh yeah,
you
definitely.
know?
Yeah.
I mean, how disgusting.
It's
Just
awful,
human
yeah.
beings are fucking horrible.
You know, it's true, and we see it now, we see it then, and nothing really changes. I mean, of course, not everyone is like that, but I feel like the evil wins somehow.
Yes,
Like
there's-
it outnumbers us. I think it outnumbers
Yeah.
us, and it's really terrifying. It
Yeah,
really is. Nothing funny about that.
No, sorry.
I know. No, I mean, well, the subject, this woman, that book is anything but funny. I do write funny things too, though.
Yes.
The George Washington's Glasses book is going to be very funny. It's a book about treason, but it's funny.
I'm actually looking forward to seeing that, to reading it.
I'm very excited about it. I'm going to start soon a podcast. I'm cheating on you. I'm going to have a podcast about American history also, and so I'm going to be interviewing authors that write it, and of course talk about my books too, because why wouldn't I?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so the second, another new. Maybe I'll just introduce new little side thoughts forever. I don't know, but here's another side little mini segment. When did this become a thing? That's going to be okay. So this one, it's called grooming. Okay, and okay. Do you know what grooming is? Do you know the new thing about grooming?
No.
No,
I mean,
no.
besides grooming yourself, like there's another meaning?
Oh, you don't even know.
No. What does that mean?
Oh, I feel more informed than you now. Okay, I
or
started
like grooming a person to do something.
Yes, but what?
I don't know.
Oh, so you don't know? Okay, because I thought, I was listening to a book on. My voice is like da. I should have brought water in here.
Me too.
I was listening to a book on Audible, and it was called "None of This Is True," which really, I'm not gonna give it away, but I knew the whole thing before they even said it. But anyway, she started talking about grooming. The girl said he groomed me, because she married a much older man. He groomed me. I'm like, grooming? Did he brush her hair? And I'm like, it took me. Finally, I figured it out from the context. I'm like, when did this when did this become a thing? And then all of a sudden, I started seeing it on other shows. Like I listened to a lot of, the crime stuff.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of groom. I'm like, wait a minute. They never talked about grooming before, but it's a
you
thing.
mean grooming to be something, but to be a certain way.
Yeah, but this is a particular thing about sex now, like grooming kids to
really?
be. Yeah, grooming
kids to be what?
To be used for sex.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, and now it's used so much now that now they say it's always in a bad way. Like he was grooming me to do this, so it can be for adults too. But the primary way they use it is starting with someone very young, grooming them to be there for sexual purposes. Yeah.
The fuck is wrong with people?
I know, but my point is this: why do when do people just start using a term that and they're using it as though you're supposed to know? But, and I didn't even know what they were talking about.
Yeah,
and I figured it out from the content, but it took me out of it, especially in the book. Okay, then I'm like, because a crime one, well, I mean, at least you're not in the story, but my God, I'm in the middle of a book. I'm like, what is she even saying? It was really weird. And why do we need a term for that? Why not say he got in my head, he was gaslighting or using me? Why do we need a new term? Americans love, this is another only in America. Americans love to make terms for everything. Label it.
Oh yeah.
I don't get that.
And they make up new words too.
They really do.
Did you ever see?
Well, so did Shakespeare, so that's okay.
There's an Amazon commercial with this mother who is talking about different things you could buy on Amazon for your kids going back to school. And at some point she says these words and I'm like, I have never heard those words before.
She just made them up?
I think it was Rizzy, maybe something.
Rizzy is a cute word. What's that about?
I don't know. I don't know what any of the words meant, but you could tell that, the kids were like, ew, my mother's using those words. So it must be some new kind of words.
Well, I will say, yes, young people have their own language. And I'm not offended by that. I think it's very cool how they make up their own words. I really do. But for the rest of us, just we could just say it's a character. It's a horrible thing that's been happening for a long time. Why do we suddenly have to have a new term?
I don't know.
And if we do have a new term, why don't you tell us what it is? I'm really glad that you didn't know, because I only heard it recently. I'm like, what, am I really out of it?
I don't know. Maybe we're both out of it. I have no idea.
All of a sudden, everyone's spewing it out like it's common knowledge. Does that happen with a lot of things? I guess it does. I don't know.
Yeah, sometimes.
Oh, so out of it. But at least I used to substitute teach, and the kids would tell me what the words meant, and I liked it. Yeah. Because their words make sense though. It comes from somewhere. I think it's I mean, this is not new anymore, but everything's sus. But
sketchy. That's kind of an old one.
Casey says sus a lot, and this woman uses it on the crime show thing I listen to, but she says it wrong. She says they were sus, as though they were suspicious of something instead. But you use it when someone is sus, someone is. So she's completely using it wrong.
Oh,
I'm gonna write to her.
Tell her.
I'm not gonna. She's good though. She's good. She tells. I like her. What is her name? I will give her. Not that she needs a plug. She's got thousands of stuff. I don't know. Oh, true crime with somebody.
So that's what you look up. True crime with somebody.
Something Ray. It's REA. No, I don't know. I'll tell you next time. I think I'm going to quote something from her one day, so then we'll have that. Okay. Anyway, because some of those true crime podcasts are terrible. What is wrong with you? But it did give me, when I listened to them, it gave me the feeling that I can do this. Because look at these people. I mean, some of these people, it's like, do they have a personality? They're just hiding it on purpose?
Maybe.
Okay. I wanted to tell you this. So I was looking up the grooming, and there's this law company. It's called White Law. On their website, listen to how they describe grooming. You're not going to believe this. Grooming is like sprinkles on an ice cream cone. It enhances the dessert, but it is still an ice cream cone without the sprinkles. Now, why would you you're trying to explain what a horrible thing is by using something that a predator would use to
yeah, really.
to get that kid. I mean, what is wrong with you? Not you, but I mean, what? And then they wrote, another part of it, they wrote, an important note. Potty training and caring for a young child as a parent is not grooming behavior. Oh, good. It is the sexualization of the care that separates parents from predators.
Oh my God.
So imagine if a bunch of kids had to run around just pooping in the yard forever because potty training is grooming. Who puts that? Who puts that? If you have to make that note, what is wrong with you?
I don't know.
Oh my God. Okay, so, well, those are the two side notes. Aren't my side notes amusing?
Yes.
Thank you.
Grooming and poo.
Grooming and poo. Guys, you can also make recommendations for side note things. You can give anything, the smallest thing to the biggest.
Yes.
And we love it. Someone already gave me a suggestion
Really?
on the community for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And she goes, I know it doesn't sound funny, but I have some funny stories.
Interesting.
So I said, okay, let's talk about it.
Yeah, I'd like to hear those.
Yeah, we'll have to talk.
The lighter side of breast cancer. I didn't think there
I don't
was
think
one.
or maybe like it's just a screening. I don't know. But she said it was funny. I just think, like, hey, listen, the things we've been talking about are not really funny, but hopefully they've been somewhat amusing.
Yes.
So, okay, well, speaking of really fun, the main discussion is about hoarding.
Always a good thing.
Just think about this. Hoarding is another kind of it's an attachment to things.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and I know quite a lot about it, unfortunately, because my mother was a hoarder, so I grew up with a hoarder. Okay, and then my uncle, her brother, was also a hoarder, which makes me wonder about that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, isn't that strange?
Yeah, I knew about your mother, but I didn't know.
The thing about hoarding is some people can be really particular about what they hoard.
Yeah.
But some people just hoard everything, right? But and then my boyfriend was a hoarder.
Yes. Your life was filled with hoarders.
It's like they were like, maybe they were trying to hoard my mind, take it away from me. I don't know. That's creepy. But all right, my uncle only hoarded stationery products. Like you know when you go to like school supplies.
Yeah.
That's what it was. It was only school supplies. It was like the lined paper or spiral notebooks, pens, pencils, like a lot of the rulers.
I wonder why.
There was right. Why would you
Yeah.
only do that? Now the man was a brilliant man. He invented the first wide angle photo lens. It was called the very wide. It was called, but he was very angry because he worked for Rolleiflex, so they got the patent and he got nothing.
Oh, that's terrible.
But the stationery products have nothing to do with cameras or anything, right? You'd figure he would hoard, film, or something.
Yeah, but it's a mental illness. I mean,
He
a
had
lot
a
of
room-
these aren't really.
The bedroom, you couldn't get in that room. I guess he just would open it a crack and shove more in there. None of it was ever used. Notebooks, I'm a writer. And I do admit that I have a pile of them that I haven't used yet, and I probably will buy more, but I am going to use them. I'm a writer. The points I have, I use them. But lock me up. And they were not even the fun ones. I always buy fun ones, like I buy like, you can buy like I like the marble composition books, but I like it when they're purple.
Yeah.
I love purple. It's my favorite color by far. Why did I say by far? I'm clapping my hands now. What I'm doing. I always motion with my hands. It's very strange. But I buy fun notebooks. Like I don't know. I like to have fun. But he wasn't using it at all. I mean, I don't know. It was very bizarre. But I remember that like it was yesterday because we had to clean it. My mother actually fixed up that house to rent it out. It was amazing because she never fixed up ours.
No, really?
Really?
I'm so surprised.
I couldn't believe it either. She pretty much did it single. I mean, I helped a little. I was a little kid though. I didn't really help much. Probably not at all. So anyway, I've been around it a lot, and so recently, well, maybe like a year or two ago, I put on Hoarders was on. I saw it by accident at someone's house, like you're visiting and it's on, and I was like, because I kind of I obviously relate to it, and I thought, well, maybe it'd be interesting to see how other people's reactions. So I was kind of I got more and more interested. Well, I watched maybe 3 episodes. I was really interested watching these episodes, and all of a sudden, I had a breakdown. I could burst into tears, and I was like, I can never watch this again. Because it was like all of a sudden I hit that moment where I couldn't take it.
Well, that was your life.
It was my life. Thank God I'm not. I do have that. I could feel the tendency to it. You know what I like to buy? I like to buy sometimes I like to buy the little craft things in Michael's.
Yeah.
But I don't use them. So I could, but didn't never get it. Maybe a couple bags of it I had,
Yeah.
But when I went to California, I got rid of them. But I would probably go back and get a couple more bags. But that's about it. I just I don't know. I definitely have too much stuff in my house. But it's just, it's not in any way out of control. It can be taken care of. If I took one day to clean it all up, it'd be gone, you know?
Right.
But my mother's house, like she hoarded books, but she never read them. I know she didn't. I never saw her read it. She hoarded the New York Times, just piles and piles of New York Times. And it's interesting because they're issues. Get it? Issues. And I used to have to sit on the New York Times. By the way, my mother, like she was I don't want to bash my mother, but I was alone a lot. Okay. And made my own food and everything. And to sit, I would sit in the kitchen on a stack of New York Times. So for the longest time, I still won't read the New York Times as in print. Right. I can't. I read it on the app.
Yes.
But I can't stand these newspapers. Like if someone delivers anything, like a newspaper thing, or even a penny saver, it makes me insane. I have to throw it immediately.
Yeah. I have to say, when I first went to your mother's house, I was very shocked. I've never been in a hoarder house.
Yeah.
And it was very eye-opening.
Yeah, she also she had my not baby clothes, but like when I was a little kid, first of all, my tutu. I hated ballet. I hated it. It was torture every second. But she hung my tutu up in her bathroom, like on the doorknob, as though I was going to go to ballet at any moment.
Wow.
She had my old dolls in bed with her when she died.
Yeah, I remember seeing her bed after she died. She had quite a bit in that bed.
There was, but my dolls, like, and then her, she had a lot there. It was, I don't know what to say about it, but so I don't know if anybody, there's so many psychological layers to hoarding.
Yeah.
But I think another interesting for me aspect is then why did I date somebody that was a hoarder as well? Like you would think I would run from it.
No. Haven't you ever heard that thing about you date your parents?
He was both of my parents completely riled up in one. He really was.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. And God, when I remember, he didn't let me see his house. He was smart. He didn't let me see his house for a while, right? And he asked me to go over there to get something when he was traveling. So it must have been really important. I looked in the window. He told me I couldn't go in. Just get somebody to bring it to the door, somebody that was watching the house. But I saw the staircase was just covered. There was just like a little path to go up it.
Oh, I remember because you brought me there.
Yeah, and I remember having this feeling that I was looking inside his mind.
Definitely. And then he made your house a hoarder house for a while.
Yes, he did. Oh my God, he used to collect scrap metal. Now I understand you want to do it from the money of it, but no money is worth destroying a beautiful piece of property. Okay. Just take your scrap metal in and hand it in and get your money. No, he just piled it in the side of my yard. I had a Nathan's umbrella, the hot dog in my backyard.
You had a Pac-Man machine in your backyard.
It was
Lady Pac-Man.
That thing floated away with Hurricane Sandy. He wound up in my neighbor's yard.
Well, why do you think I hum the theme to Stanford and Son whenever I think of him?
My son, my little one called him a hobo.
He's a hobo.
Yeah, well, he also he dressed like a hobo too. I was listening to this thing about apparently it was a true crime thing, but they made a movie about it recently. This woman and some guy named Dirty John, and he was it was his nickname. He didn't tell her his name was Dirty, but there were many clues about him. And then he claimed to be a doctor, but he walked around only in scrubs, always. And they were tattered at the bottom.
Oh God!
And he showed up to take her to she was really rich, right? And he showed up and she met him on online dating. Now, really, she although this rich woman could have found a man in a much better way than this online dating thing, and she made so many allowances for him because she felt that he was genuine, which was the furthest thing from the truth. But he really won her over. She allowed all these crazy behaviors. Okay, the man showed up for a black tie affair in scrubs, and she goes, "Well, I can't." It was like one of those really formal galas.
Nope.
And she goes, "I can't take you." He goes, "Well, they'll like it that you're dating a doctor." She goes, "Oh yeah, okay."
Okay.
Can you imagine?
Nope.
This made me feel so much better about myself. And her kids were all skeeved out by him. And they said when in the apartment, the penthouse, it was like he was casing the joint. And he was very interested in all her pocketbooks. She's like, why would he be interested in her pocketbooks unless he wanted to steal them?
Yeah, really.
So this is a very interesting story. Again, I don't remember the whole thing. I don't remember the name of it, but I would recommend this. If you see something with Dirty John, I think they put it on maybe Max or Netflix or something. I'm going to look for it because it was a really interesting story. But it just goes to show you, again, what allowances we'll make for them. Now, men, it can happen the other way around too, but I'm going to say it happens more with women. Because why? Because we're just trained to accept any bad behavior from men. We're groomed. Am I wrong?
No, a lot of women will put up with a lot of shit.
Well, speaking of shit, this shit was everywhere in my house, right? He brought in so much crap.
Oh, yeah. We tried to clean it like a couple of times. We cleaned it out and he
brought more.
brought more.
I would secretly take things to a dumpster and like I would be afraid. I would be afraid that he knew them. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so I tried to take stuff and that's when I realized after I got some rid of it that he didn't really know any of it.
No.
And one time he had this fish that he liked. It was like it was a fish mounted. It was
Like those singing ones?
I think it was a real dead fish. Like
Ew.
he didn't kill it because he used to hoard. Like he would go in anybody's garbage. He would take anything people didn't want. He would just take anything. He just took it. Like it's like, and I will say that he did find uses for a lot of things because he's that kind of a guy, right? But I don't care. Go buy something when you need it. It's not worth it to clutter your entire life. Like there's so many psychological things going on here. But there was this fish. He was going to use it for Halloween. One thing, he loved Halloween, and he would always make up this big thing for Halloween, and that really was fun with him. Like, and my son would hide and jump out at the people. It was so cute. And they were like, "That's a little kid."
I remember that.
He chased them out of the whole place.
I went there for that too.
Wasn't that cute?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a good time there. That was the one good time he had with him. He didn't like it. Casey is like the woman's kids. He had way more sense than me. The kids have most sense, I think, you know. But
yes, me and Casey had discussions about the hobo.
The hobo. And so he had this fish, and Michael was outside cleaning out the shit. He would never clean anything out. He would just sort of repack it. Shit. Whatever. Trip would have this. It's a common name. I don't know how to hit a dump button. Trip would have would repack the shed, but never get rid of one thing. He would just sort of it was just this constant reorganization of his shit, right? And that was, it was everywhere. So he was concentrating on the shed. I think he just wanted to put more in it, you know? So the kids, Casey had a friend over, and they liked the fish. So he said, well, you can play with the fish, but you got to be really careful with the fish. Because he wanted to use it for Halloween. So this is going to sound really mean, but it's not. It was funny because the kids were playing with the fish, and I guess they got bored with the fish, and they just left it in the foyer, whatever you say, of my house, right? So I knew nothing about any of this except when the mother of the other boy came to pick up her son. She goes, "Your mother's lying on the floor."
What?
In your doorway. I go, "What?" She goes, "Yeah, she fell on a fish."
No.
But I'm only laughing because my mother wasn't hurt. She just waited. She laid there waiting for someone to notice because she wanted the attention. I know she wasn't hurt.
Oh, yeah.
Because if she was hurt, she would have let out a wail that carried through Cincinnati. You know, but so just the way she said she fell in a fish. Now the fish was destroyed. It was broken, right?
Uh-oh.
It was like 2 fish. And I said that Casey was so worried. Casey and I put it in a bag, and we went to a dumpster like 5 towns away because we wanted to make sure he didn't hit that dumpster, you know? And I said, well, we'll never speak of the fish again. And he didn't even ask about the fish. He forgot. It was like, but he had us under that spell of like, everything's important, you know? And my God, like he had his, thank God, I did break up with him enough that I threw him out of there. You got to give me that.
Yeah.
And that was hard.
I can imagine.
You know? And so I got, oh my God, that house was so filled with shit. And he just took it. And I'm like, oh my God, like to have my house back at least, like, oh my God, like that house, I can't look at a tarp. I cannot look at a tarp. I've got PTSD because he used tarps over everything. Outside, inside, tarps everywhere.
He sure did.
I will say a lot of his stuff did get destroyed in Hurricane Sandy. So that was that's really what led to the whole thing. Because he seemed to care more about that shit than my actual house. And oh my God, he had left an oil tank. He didn't leave it. There was an oil tank under my house because that's where it was. My oil tank was under my house. And then when, what's that hurricane that hit before Sandy? Irene came, and that oil tank got ruined. So I got money from FEMA to put another oil tank outside my house, which got ripped away in Hurricane Sandy. But so he said he was going to get rid of that oil tank, but he never got rid of it. He wanted to take it and scrap it. He never did it. Well, guess what happened when Hurricane Sandy came?
It floated away?
No, it didn't float away, but the oil rose up.
Oh, no.
So the oil filled like my thing. So I had to hire somebody to get rid of all that oil, clean up the oil spill before the people that were going around the houses were inspecting. Because if they saw the oil, they would have condemned my house.
Oh, gosh.
Yes. So I did. But he didn't help at all. He was concerned about all this electronics. He had so many electronics that were destroyed, because he had them all on the first floor of my house. My whole first floor was destroyed. And he was so concerned about these things. He bought, like the giant sacks of rice. My whole house was filled with sacks of rice with electronics in them. And the really sad thing was he really never would have used those things. They were all like things he took out of people's garbages anyway, like a piece of part of a computer, that big, the thing that they're like.
Oh, I know, because I remember seeing them in your house.
Called?
I don't know.
But he had a million.
But I know
of
what
them.
you're talking about.
But he didn't need them. Like, there was no reason. There was one thing he would have used. There was like a TV, and we were leaving. He goes, "Should I go back?" The only reason we left because the swans tried to come in my house. I'm like, "We better go." I think they float because the high tide brought the water up to my house, and before the storm, and the swans swam up, and I thought they wanted to eat, but they tried to come in my house.
Yeah, because they were like, "We're getting the hell out of here."
So it's like, if swans want to come in, we better go. So we did leave, but he's like, "I left that TV on the floor." I'm like, "Oh, it'll be fine." And he held that against me. My whole freaking house was destroyed, but that TV, he left the TV.
Ridiculous.
Oh my God, he tried to save the carpet. I of course just put down carpet. It wasn't anything great anyway, but like he lays it on I'm like, dude, it was in salt water. We got to get rid of it, This is before we even realized the magnitude, the problem of salt water. But anyway, the flood did destroy a lot of his stuff, but then he was still there, and I did manage. But then, I didn't break up with him. I was still, maybe I thought I broke up with him. But there were these moments, it was crazy. It was like this crazy, crazy thing. And I wrote about it in Lunar Rising, and then there was more that I found out, and I started to write a whole other book, but it was hard because it's just very hard facing your own life. But the hoarding is it's so hard to understand because it's so distinct. Everybody has their own type of it, but it has to be related to their psychological needs and what they're trying to fill in or maybe avoid, right? Do you think it's it's maybe avoidance? Because if you pile in all this stuff, you can't really even you can't even think of anything else except the stuff just things that are in front of you.
Yeah.
It's like literal blockades, right?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Right up until when he died, my God, he was trying to clean up because his mother lived in his house. It was his mother's house, and he was trying to clean it up for the nurses' aides. They were going to come and check on her, and they needed. But my God, all he did was he basically built a wall.
Yes.
There was no living room at all.
Oh,
It's everywhere. It was just everywhere. Oh my God.
Oh, you know what? Okay, I wouldn't call this person a hoarder necessarily. Maybe because I had a friend when I was a kid, and when you went into her room, it's like there was one little pathway through the room.
That sounds like a hoarder.
Yeah, it was. And the funny thing is, oh God, I hope she doesn't listen to this.
Was it a kid?
Yes.
A kid did that?
Yes, it was kind of like their house wasn't really. Her stepfather turned out to be a hoarder. His house is completely.
It wasn't the same house?
It's the same house. Oh. Obviously, she's an adult. She moved out.
Oh, I see.
But now the house is.
Oh, he wasn't there at the time?
No, he was there at the time.
But he wasn't hoarding?
No, I wouldn't say hoarding. I don't think it had gotten that bad yet.
Huh.
But
well, she sounds like she was hoarding.
Yes. I guess she was. I never thought of it that way.
How old was she?
We were kids.
I've never heard of a kid hoarding. Have you? I never saw anybody.
I didn't even think of that until just now.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wow. What was she hoarding? Do you know?
I don't know what it was. There was a lot of stuff in there.
Could it be that somebody put it there?
No, I think it was her stuff.
Wow.
I guess I always just thought she was messy.
Well, if there's one little path, that sounds
but
beyond
there was
messy.
one path.
Yeah.
And I come from the total opposite. Like my mother was a compulsive, neat.
You're pretty
freak.
neat too.
Because I grew up in a house like you wouldn't have even thought children lived in my house.
Really?
There
Wow.
was no mess
Wow.
anywhere. There
How
was
do you-
no toys, nothing.
Where were the toys?
They were in our rooms and they were put away.
Oh, sounds like Howard's mother.
Everything in my house was
Filthy dirty.
clean and neat.
I don't understand how you can have everything completely neat. Clean, I can understand, but neat, if you're using it, then you got to. I
I'm
don't get
still
that.
that way. Everything has to be
You are.
in the exact right spot.
Well, your pop-up things, what are they called?
Pops.
You have them all stacked very nicely, like all very neat. Everything's so neat.
And they're in an order.
They,
They're in order. Everything I have is ordered.
I know,
Yeah.
I know.
And it might not make sense to other people.
I really want to do that, okay, but I can't.
yes,
maybe
we're
I
very
won't, yeah.
opposite in that way.
Because I think to write is sort of to live in. I think I'm a hoarder of words, is what I am.
Yeah.
Like I'm a hoarder of stories. When I look at all I've written, it's shocking. Like, and then there's things that aren't out published yet, and I will not. Like, I want every single thing. Of course, I want people to. It's not the money. But I want. I mean, I love money. Don't get me wrong. I want to make money, but I want to share my words with the world.
Yeah.
So, my God, I think like, so I always keep like tons of books that I've read. I've read pieces of them, like for my research or for ideas for stories, like to learn things about. So, but I don't ever want to get rid of them. So I save those. But it's not. I mean, it's not that many,
Right.
But then I have like. My desk just turns so friggin' messy so fast because I have to have a bunch of different books open when I'm doing my research and this and that. And then I don't want to, but I'm never finished. Like it takes a long time to finish a book, right? So a manuscript, I don't want to put them away, but then I have to use my date book. So that goes on top of it and this and that. And then I always write in little scraps. I have all these notebooks, but I'll tear out a page and because I always want to put little tabs because I like the marble thing, but it doesn't have sections, right? So then I figured maybe I'll put a little tab thing, and then I wind up pulling. Yeah, my mind is chaos, and I guess my desk reflects it. But I think you can't to write is to be in chaos.
Yeah.
I tried outlining and stuff like that's just too. I mean, I do outline when I have to, but it's that's not really part of the process for me. It's just like all this like churning around in my head, and I can remember all that stuff, but when it goes to actual anything else, no. But
Yeah.
And my house is not clean because I have a big dog there and he's shedding constantly. So I get rid of the hair. But I mean, this is not hoarding.
Oh, I found out a good tip about getting rid of hair
No.
because my cats shed everywhere. Obviously, animals shed. So I read online that if you take a rubber glove and wipe at the hair, it comes up. So I tried it and it actually works.
Wait, what kind? You mean like a doctor glove?
Yeah, I took like an old glove I had from like COVID days. I had a
Right.
box of
Okay,
gloves.
yeah.
And I did that to my couch and all the hair came up.
You're kidding.
Yeah, it was really
Well, it's
cool.
like a static thing, maybe.
I guess.
Oh, that is a good tip.
Yeah, so for
All right,
you
guys,
people.
free tip.
And it actually worked.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
Wow.
because I have an orange cat and he sheds. I mean,
Yeah.
and he lays everywhere.
My dog,
Yeah.
forget my couch is like, every time I try to put the pillows back, he just mushes them back down. And what am I going to do? I love the dog more than the couch.
Oh, yeah. I mean, obviously, I'm going to let my cat, I'm the worst. They can do whatever they want.
Why not, though? I mean, like, let them have their lives.
Yeah.
What can I tell you? I don't know. But hoarding, I guess I do. I think I always will have, like, both an attraction and a repulsion to it, which I guess is life. But I don't think we can ever really, because the people on Hoarders, from what I understand, they go back to hoarding. Like they need to go to counseling and all. Then I mean, I guess I wonder if any of them do permanently not hoard anymore. I mean, it's really horrendous. Like I don't understand it, but I think I do. It's interesting. I would like to know if anybody's completely healed because I've never been around anybody that's healed. They all died, so I've never seen anybody get healed from hoarding.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that much about hoarding besides what I told you today. I mean, I really haven't had much experience with it.
I mean, I used to sit just surrounded by all this stuff. It was, but she had particular things like when she got packages, we found packages she never opened.
Oh, yeah.
Why did you order it?
I don't know, but I remember, didn't we find full alcohol, unopened
Oh,
alcohol.
shit, yeah. Well, I
Like,
understand. Okay, I
but
do.
under the couch or
Yes.
something, like it was in an odd spot.
Yeah, that she chose, instead of a wine rack, she had like under the couch was all
Yeah.
this wine that really did not last because she didn't, you have to really store it properly.
Yeah.
You know, and I was surprised that she didn't know that because like my mother really knew her wine and everything. I know she used, this is how they found out she died actually, but we used to go to there's this liquor store in Island Park called Pops. You know Pops.
Everybody knows
Yeah.
Pops.
And they have a once or twice a year sale. So my mother used to go and buy. Now she barely drank. I mean, but she would stock up on this wine, like, but she never that. So it was all sitting there. But she knew you had to keep it a certain temperature. So I'm really surprised. Like, yeah, she was a hoarder. I know maybe, but I knew that she had sense about that.
Yeah, but hoarding makes no sense. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It's different with all different people. I mean, you're trying to make sense out of something that doesn't make sense.
And my cousin knew that something was wrong when she didn't call him about the sale to go with her to the sale.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I'm like, I'm sure she's fine. Because my mother was a little bit of a false alarmist, you know. And I said, she used to say to me, look, you got to understand, I'm the daughter of a hoarder, right? That gives an insight. It was difficult growing up with her. And my mother had other stuff too, okay? I love my mom, but it was a very difficult childhood, okay? And so she used, she was around all the time with my kids. You know, my mom was always around and stuff. But she used to like want, no matter what, how much time she spent, she wanted more, right? Like, so it was just like, she was like something like an energy vampire, you know? On that show, what we do in the shadows.
What we do in the shadows. Yeah,
show.
Colin is a.
Yes, and let me tell you, that's real.
Oh, that's so real.
That's real. If people drain you out, and like that is real.
Oh, there are definitely people like that, and if you haven't watched the show, it's hilarious.
It's a great show. You should watch it. But and he's just like when you like they just suck your energy out of you, right?
Yes.
And my mother did that to me, and you know, and she used to say, she would threaten me. You're going to be sorry when you find me dead in my bed one day. Well, you shouldn't say stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because that's what happened. But I was scared to go in. The cops and my cousin's wife went, well, she's my cousin too, but, you know, they went in. And the cops were mean about it too.
Really?
Not her, but the house, you know. I mean, look, somebody just died, but they're like making remarks about the condition of the house. I mean, does that really needed when someone's just died? You know,
no.
You know, she used to, and honestly, a relative of ours offered to go help her, and she didn't want it. She did not want. She wanted her stuff the way it was.
Oh yeah.
You know, she got very agitated if anybody ever tried to help.
Of course.
You know. I would be so grateful for any help. Like, my God, if you could, you don't even know what you have, you know, like, what are you doing? And my mother used to love to go to the thrift shop, and she had all these clothes piled on the banisters.
Yeah, you remember the clothes were everywhere.
But she never wore them.
Yeah.
Why buy them?
I don't know. I mean, I have to say I'm guilty of that too. I have
everybody buys clothes they don't wear for sure.
I just cleaned out all of my clothes recently, and I was shocked at the number of clothes I had with the tags still on them that I have never worn.
I have that too.
Tons of them. And I'm like, and they all look exactly the same. It's like I buy the same clothes over and over again.
Okay, well, I can understand that in a way. Like if I'm shopping, I'm like, and I find something that I like, I'm like, wait, I feel like I have this, but what if I don't? And I need, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
But so what do you do with them when do you ever have a clean out time?
I tossed, you know me.
Tossed through peace and love.
I purge when I don't like to have a lot. I've moved a lot, you know that.
Yeah.
I have moved many, many times, and I've found it easier to have less stuff.
For sure, yeah.
So I have streamlined everything I have, and when I feel like I'm getting too much, I will go through it and get rid of it.
I mean to do that, but I don't do it. Now I'm going to do this before we go. We're going away to where are we going? Edinburgh and London.
Yes.
And,
next week.
Yes.
A week from today.
So I really want. I still have to pack, and I want it. This is a perfect time to purge out and get rid of stuff. I went across. I moved to California with my son and came back with him, and I still dragged around some things like. I managed to save things I really don't need, but things I should have saved somehow. I don't know what it is, but I think it's interesting. We all have attachments to things. Like, for example, this is not hoarding at all, but you find attachment. You find something really important to you about those. What are they called again?
They're Funko Pops.
Well, that means you have that attachment.
I love my Funko Pops.
Do you understand why?
I'm a 53-year-old lady who is addicted to Funko Pops.
Right. Well, what is the feeling you get from the Funko Pop?
I like them because I get them of things that I really love.
Right.
You know.
Right. So you have a genuine reason. Like
Yes.
these are all things that
These
matter.
are things that I really, it's like books. I'll only keep books that I really love.
Right.
Honestly, I don't have the room otherwise. My bookshelf is full. But, I have pops of TV shows I like, authors I like, music I like, the ones that I really, really like.
Right. So you've managed to find it's like a healthy attachment because you really you find something really, literally you find a connection with them.
Yes.
But the hoarding goes beyond that because there's no connection to these things. That's the thing that makes it kind of crazy. So even if it doesn't get to the point where your whole house is packed, why are you collecting things that have no real meaning to you?
I have no idea. I would never do it myself, so I just don't understand.
It's interesting. It's interesting. And when I go to other people's houses, I can see, I'm like, get rid of that. No problem. But with my own house, it's harder. You know what I mean?
Because it's your stuff.
It's your stuff. And people pay a fortune. Oh my God. Tripp had storage units. Like he had, and it just filled with complete garbage.
Oh yeah. I had a friend like that. She had moved from her apartment and she went to live with her parents. So she kept all her stuff in a storage facility for years. I mean, when I went there, it was all stuff that was so outdated.
Right.
Like, I was like, why would you ever keep that? I mean, it was, first of all, it was super 80s looking.
Right.
And I was like, but I guess it was some sort of connection to where she wanted to be. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's interesting. She wanted to go back to that time?
Yeah, I guess she wasn't happy, going and living with her parents. Like she wanted to be independent, and keeping her stuff
gave the possibility,
connected her to the possibility that she could.
Oh, that's interesting.
I would assume that's why she kept it.
But it was in a storage unit?
Yes.
So did she go visit it frequently?
She took me to visit it people ask me to do very weird things with them.
Why would anybody ask you to go visit a storage unit with them?
You got me. Why would I go?
I would be interested in seeing what people are. It's like that show where they go into the storage units. It's interesting.
Yes.
It's interesting. I don't watch it very often, but if someone says, "Hey, you want to?" I'll watch it. It's interesting.
I would never watch a show like that. But if someone asks, I'm one of those go with kind of people.
You do that,
yes. If you ask me to go somewhere, even if I think that place is absolutely ridiculous, I will try it once. I will go with you.
Well, I think that's interesting. Yeah, I could. I couldn't imagine inviting someone to go see my storage unit. That's what I'm saying.
I have no idea why, but I went several times.
Wow. So she was really into it then.
Yes.
Well, you were she was really going back and hanging out. Did she have it set up that you could sit? No. Oh, I can't imagine. Oh my God. Tripp had, not only did he have storage units, but whenever he did work for people, he asked if he could use some of their space. Like if they had extra space, he asked to just put stuff there. And this one place where for some reason they had a bunch of trailers for trucks.
Yeah.
They were filled with his shit.
Really?
Trailer trucks, like the whole lot of, maybe there were 12.
So what you're saying to me is besides the stuff that he was hoarding at your house and his mother's house, which was so much stuff, he had separate places?
Well, okay. Number one, all the women he was cheating on me with, he had stuff with all of them.
Okay. He was a sick man. I'm sorry.
And number two, places he worked. Okay, like there was this really lovely clothing boutique. Well, they had a whole downstairs. He asked very simply, "Hey, mind if I put? Using it? Can I?" It's all filled with his shit.
Wow.
They all called. I called them all and said, that he passed away. Like, what should we do with this stuff? I'm like, good luck with that. I'm not gonna come get it.
Wow.
There was so many places. Yes. But I think the most egregious were those trail because they were sitting there, and he had. It was like going to a department store. But he did have, like, he had furniture in one. He had this, like, he did have places because they were so big that he had ways to categorize them that he never could have done it at his own house.
He really was a hoarder.
It just got worse and worse. Everywhere, like, there were so many people that told me they had his stuff. Like, so many.
Wow.
I still have some of the stuff in my shed, like, because the whole shed, you know, when something's just such a mess that you just don't even know where to start. What I have to do is get a dumpster and just take everything from that shed, including the shed.
Yeah.
Because it's like, the thing about wood is very nice, but it also kind of decays after a while. You know, so it just has to go.
Yeah.
So I have to get a dumpster. But you know what I thought I would do? Okay, this is something I really want to do. Because it's like all that stuff, it's like I'm a prisoner of all the hoarding in my mind in a way, and I want to, like, smash it. You know, they have those rooms you can go to and smash things?
Yeah.
I wanted to go to one, but they're very expensive. Did you ever see the prices?
No, I've never had the urge to go to one.
You get like an hour, and like the amount of objects in there depends on how much you pay. It's expensive, right? So I thought I could smash everything in that shed before I throw it out.
Oh, that could be interesting.
There's so much stupid shit in there.
Oh, I want to be a part of that.
Okay, well, we'll smash.
Okay.
I think smashing stuff could be very therapeutic.
Yes.
I should have done more of it with stuff in my mother's house. I was telling you about the books. She hoarded books, but she left, like, so many of them on the back porch, right? What do you think happened to them? They rotted.
Oh, of course.
Why would you do that with books? Why would you put them outside?
Once again, you're trying to make sense out of something that doesn't make sense.
So Trip was helping me empty out that house after my mother passed away. So apparently you can bring books. They'll take books. It's like a recycling place for paper, I guess. So they pay you for it, right? So he was very I don't think he knew what you got or anything, but he packed up the back of a truck. It took him with all these books. Like, it took him forever to get, because they're heavy too, right? Books. So took them all, packed it up. I mean, it took him like a week to pack this truck with books. Guess what he got? Guess how much they paid him?
$30.
20.
That is ridiculous.
You know what? Like, what?
It takes more energy.
I know. Well, he used to save cans. He not only saved cans for recycling, but he would stop and collect them out of everything.
Yeah, just like he collected the Marlboro miles.
Oh my God, he did. That's funny too. But he made me, he wanted me to go to they call it the Redemption Center. And I did it once, and I said, and I put my foot down. I'm like, there is no redemption at the Redemption Center.
Oh, I agree.
I said, what did you got like $12 and you took like 2 hours out of my life, dude. That's not going to happen again.
Yes, a lot of people do that. I don't have that kind of patience.
You can take them, you can do what you want with them, but I'm not going to do that. You have to listen to each thing crunch when the jar's smashed in there. Like no. I just want to be out of here. Take your 5 cents. Here, I will give you 5 cents. I will give you whatever you want. Just don't let me go there again. It smelled because of the beer that got crushed. I went once and that's one thing I put my foot down. But the Marlboro thing is also hysterical because he was a DJ, right? So he didn't even smoke, right?
No, that's the best part.
But people outside the club would just throw all their cigarettes because people are disgusting and can't throw anything out. What is wrong with people, right? They threw all the Marlboro. Everybody smoked Marlboro, I guess. And he collected them after he worked all night. He went through the parking lot and collected them, and he sent in the points. And he had a Marlboro wardrobe. He had a Marlboro jacket. He had the luggage.
Yes, I have to be honest. I had the Marlboro jacket.
But you smoked.
I smoked though, and I saved up the miles. But I'm like, I would never do such a thing today. I don't even know. It was so stupid to get You know why? Because I thought the jacket was going to be one of those satin jackets, like
right.
You know, from the 70s. Yeah. That's what it looked like in the catalog.
Yeah.
It absolutely did not look like that in person. It looked
like a members only, like a cheap members only.
Yeah. And it had a big Marlboro on the back.
So he wore no problem wearing that stuff, even though he didn't smoke. I mean, it would have been silly anyway for him to walk around Marlboro luggage.
Yeah.
You know, this is what he did because he just had any opportunity to get anything for free that he was in for it.
Yeah.
He would always wear this Jets jacket. He hated sports. Like, but why are you like? Take the time, be proud of yourself, and wear something you like. You know, like I don't know. Okay, so anyway, I think we're done with that.
Now that you know all about Trip, and that doesn't even scratch the surface.
It really doesn't. And I'll tell you something. He was a very interesting subject to write about, and he gave me a lot to think about psychology. As a writer, I think psychology is very important when you're writing. And as I think I mentioned before, I really study the human condition. Yeah. Maybe I didn't mention it, but no matter what I write, I forget about what I talked about in ones we didn't succeed in recording. But I think I'm very interested in studying why people do things. Why do people hurt each other? And there's never going to be a clear answer, but this is the fascination of writing for me, to just study humanity. Yeah. And whether it's history or whether it's current. And he provided endless speculation.
Yes. Well, I have to say, and we're not going to get into this, I think, but we've both dated men that were very interesting.
Yes.
Not necessarily in a good way.
No, but we can laugh about them.
Yes. But since they are all out there somewhere, yes, living, we cannot share that with you.
I'll tell you this. I'm going to just really...
Sorry, my phone's going off.
I really believe that he likes to be talked about. Like, honestly, I communicate with the dead, but that's a whole other story. But and we will talk about that. But he likes attention. He's flattered. He always he knew, he loved that he was in Lunar Rising. He loved that he was, that it was, he loved it. And it really made him so excited to, like, he didn't care that he looked bad in it.
Yeah, because it does not paint him in a good light.
He loved it. All. He loved it. So I think he's okay with this too. I am honest. You might have noticed that. I say bad things about me too. I told you I look at my poop. I don't see the point in masking anything about myself. And so I tell the truth about my life. And when I talk about him, my meaning is not to disparage him. It's still, I'm trying to figure out humanity. I'm still trying to figure out my relationships. And truthfully, a large part of me misses this guy. And it's like, it's weird, like how these attachments, right?
Of course.
Attachments are crazy. Like, and I guess we're crazy. I think the bottom line is we are just crazy.
I guess so.
Is anybody normal? I don't know. They're so boring when they're normal.
I feel like as I get older, I'm looking more for those normal, boring people.
The people, but I'm dating. I'm done. I'm out. I'm like George Washington. No, done. No, I don't. First of all, I don't trust myself because I clearly cannot screen people properly. But I don't need it. I'm like, I'm very happy with my own life. I'm very happy with my writing, and honestly, it took menopause totally to get there. Yeah, but
I am too. But I'm open to the possibility.
Are you?
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
Well,
can you believe I'm saying that?
No, I can't.
I used to. If I was on a train, I'd just be like, "Whoo, men," And you said to me, "You will never be a nun," and I said, "No, that's a habit I don't want." So anyway, that's the end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I know you have a quote you want to give, but first I'm going to give the quote, the episode end quote.
Okay.
It's by, I've seen this name so many times, but I cannot pronounce it. Thich Nhat Hanh.
Oh, yeah.
You know him?
No, I don't know how to pronounce it either, but I know who you're saying.
Buddhist guy, right? Right? I think he's a Buddhist.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know.
I always buy date books with quotes by him.
Yeah.
So, letting go gives us freedom, and freedom is the only condition for happiness. If, in our heart, we still cling to anything, anger, anxiety, or possessions, we cannot be free.
Nice.
Thank you. And now tell everybody what you said about who you quote.
I only quote dead rock stars. Just like in my office at work, there's a whole wall dedicated to the Rolling Stone covers of dead rock stars.
Wow, I didn't realize that.
Oh yeah, I have.
But wait a minute, but don't you quote? You don't quote. What about people that are living? You don't quote them?
Not often.
Dave Grohl?
Yeah, I guess I could, but he says so much. I love Dave.
He
talks a lot.
He does talk a lot.
Yeah.
You can't find one thing to quote about him?
I've never tried.
Okay, well, go ahead. We love the dead rock stars.
Okay. This is Kurt Cobain. And if you don't know who Kurt Cobain is, I don't know what planet you've been living on. But
I went to see the place where he killed himself.
yes, I would like to go
We'll
there.
go there one day.
Yes,
Yeah.
because Lane Staley also was in that area.
Right.
So I'd rather be hated for who I am than loved for who I am not.
I love that. That really ties in so much of what we've been talking about people. Yeah, absolutely. That's great.
He was a wise man.
That's a good one. I'll put that one up in my house. I like that. Yeah. He was a wise man. He really, I think that he cared too much. He just couldn't be happy in this world because he had so much pain.
Yeah.
I love his journal. If anybody ever wants to read something interesting, they have it printed like a Mead spiral notebook that it was, and you could read the whole thing. It's fascinating to see all his thoughts.
It's great.
He was just genius. But then all of a sudden, in the middle of all these things that he's writing, he put down the phone number for Norditrack. And I just feel like if he had just gotten the Norditrack, life could have been different for him.
Oh, poor Kurt.
I know. And he wrote letters to the record companies like, we've been waiting to hear from you. Are you going to sign us or what?
Oh, yeah.
I guess it worked eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good for him. I should try that tactic with people. Are you going to publish my book or what? All right. On that note, pursue your dreams. Get rid of your collection dust things that you don't need. And love always.
Yeah. If you don't use it, throw it out.
Yes, and that includes relationships.
Oh, yeah, definitely with relationships. Some people need to be cut off.
They do. They do. Energy vampires.
Exactly.
Yeah. We're going to talk about that more in another episode. Okay. We got a lot to talk about. You know what? One thing I want to do that would be fun?
What?
I want us to go on Bumble and read the descriptions of these people. I mean, it's unbelievable. And how many men holding a fish?
Holding a fish, and why do they never have a shirt on?
Oh my God.
Do you not own a shirt?
I don't understand.
A fish or a shirt, and sometimes it's both.
Oh, it is. Yes, yes. All right, well, that's something we can look forward to.
Yes.
All right, guys. Take care.
Good day.